According to the National Electoral Commission of Rwanda, there are more than 2,000 polling stations. And by evening, that is on Monday, they had started tallying the results. And out of the 75% of the votes counted, President Paul Kagame, who is the incumbent, had garnered more than 99% of the total votes. Second in the race is Frank Habineza from the Green Party. He's a former journalist who became a politician. He got 0.53%, and that is the highest from the side of opposition. And he's followed by Philippe Habimana, who is an independent candidate in this race. He got 0.32%. Cut. Massive turn-up of voters in Kigali and plus other places within Rwanda. And this was because of the civic education that the government of Rwanda concentrates on in ensuring that these people exercise their civic right of choosing who becomes their president. More than 9 million people who are registered to vote. And out of the 9 million people, at least 2 million were new voters. Those were the young people who had turned 18 and were eligible to vote. And this exactly explains the kind of demographic situation, especially in Rwanda, where there are so many youths who are participating in politics, in high offices, even in terms of leadership. There are many youths who are involved. And according to President Paul Kagame, that is one of the things or one of the reasons as to why he hardly has any sort of chaos like what happened in Kenya, the Gen Z, when we asked him about that issue of the youths rising up against some of the leaders. He said they must be actively involved from the lowest to the topmost office in government, so that in case there is any issue, they are able to raise it and solutions are found before everything turns chaotic. Oda Gasizigwa is the National Electoral Commission chairperson, and according to her, there were more than 300 foreign observers, plus other 700 observers from Rwanda itself. And we speak to Mr. Lubega. We wanted to know from you, you have been observing what was taking place. Do you really think people came, or the critics have been saying that some of the Rwandans vote as a result of intimidation or they fear? Do you believe in that school of thought?
Thank you, Sudil. I don't believe in it at all, according to what we have observed. We haven't come up with a full report, but our preliminary report is very, very clear that the elections were very peaceful. People were voting, not pushed, not intimidated anywhere. They were doing willingly. Okay. And whatever people who are outside Kigali or Rwanda, that the information they try to give out of Rwanda is a wrong information.
And when you look at the opposition, you attended several rallies for the opposition. That is Habimana and Mpaimana. Yes. I want to know from you, do you really believe the opposition had a leveled ground in this election in terms of carrying out campaigns where people are not scared to show up for their rallies? Do you really believe it happened?
Yeah, I believe there was no intimidation and they were free. It depends on how your message goes to the people. And they came, they were not even being like in the other Africa countries, whereby the opposition can be, they are in fear of speaking out. These ones, they were free to speak out, and we are free to look for, to campaign and see that the people come to them. The gatherings depended on your manifesto, and you display it over. And we are very free, and they, according to our observation, even we had some of interviews, they said they have no problem with the process, and we are very free with that process of...
There was a leveled ground in terms of the current election for both opposition and the incumbent.
Yes, there was that level. It was balanced level. That's what I can say.
And then on the side of the observers, did you encounter any challenges? Because sometimes maybe, you may be also acting out of fear or intimidation. Did you encounter any challenges while in Rwanda?
There was no challenge at all for the observers, and they were highly respected. We are given that chance to observe without any fear or interference. We were doing our work as the International Code of Conduct as observers.
Okay.
And we did it without any interference from the government. And we want to thank the National Election Commission of Rwanda, the work they have displayed.
Okay. And then you are observers who are independent.
Yes.
Who funds you? Because many observers are coming from organizations that are well known. Who is funding you?
We fund ourselves. We are a group of businessmen who decided to start global election observation missions with the purpose of becoming the ambassadors of peace, seeing that there is peace in Africa and all over. People who have that heart of peace, and they want to see the peace in Africa, are the people who come and contribute to us, and we see that this agenda goes ahead.
So then after you have done all this, what happens? You have observed, so what happens? What's the dividend? You're a businessman, you need to, you're spending. What do you gain out of it?
What I gain as personally, I'm a business person, but I gain that legacy. My prayer, whatever people we are selling to, our things there, if there is peace, we make money. So if there is no peace, we make losses. So that's why I gain with there is this the legacy and the peace in the region.
You have heard from Lubega here, who is from the Global Election Observation Missions, and they have been here for an entire week observing what has been taking place, and there are several other observers from various organizations who are accredited to carry out the same mission within Rwanda. We shall be giving you more updates later on what comes out from the National Electoral Commission, that is the only entity allowed to announce results. Sudil Biarhanga, NTV, Kigali.